Hey everyone, Chef Jason Hill here, and about a week ago I went out and picked up some baby organic spinach with the intention on making some salads throughout the week. I didn't get around to doing it. The spinach is starting to turn, it's no longer salad worthy. So we're gonna pick out the bad leaves, we're gonna wilt the rest down, season it, and make a wonderful Spanakopita stuffing. Let me show you how I do it. Okay, you can see that I've removed the bad leaves and as many of the stems as possible. Now I just transfer to the sink. Get a good rinse on it. And we'll let that drain. While our spinach is draining, let's go ahead and fine dice a half an onion. And we'll use probably about a quarter cup of this. Next, I'm going to turn my burner on medium-high and start preheating our saute pan. Next, I drizzle about a teaspoon of olive oil in there, followed by a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to stir this around, melt off the butter, add our quarter cup of minced fine diced onion, start to cook this down a little bit. And we don't want to brown the onions here, we just want them to become translucent, so just maybe a couple minutes here. All right, after about a minute, I'm going to stir in my garlic shallot puree, and we're just going to let that cook for another minute. Break it up, stir it up. If you don't have garlic shallot puree, use one clove of garlic, minced or crushed. Now it's time to add the spinach, and the water that's retained on these leaves is going to drizzle down into the pan, and it's going to steam and wilt our wonderful spinach here. And to aid in that process, we need to put a lid on it. I'll probably bump the heat down to medium now. All right, while our spinach is wilting, I'm going to turn my other burner on to medium-high, get a smaller saute pan preheated, because we're going to toast a half a cup of pine nuts. Yeah, let's do a quarter cup. Just enough to coat that pan there. Now these toast super quick, so you gotta keep stirring it or flipping it. Okay, after a couple minutes you can see some of the natural oils from the seeds or from the nuts are coming out. So it won't be long until they start to brown. This is where I usually will cut the heat and let the carryover cooking process take over. The reason we toast these is they get a better flavor, just like anything when you toast them. Okay, now let's check the spinach. Oh yeah, you can see how that's wilted down. Maybe just give it a little stir. And now we just drain the spinach again into a colander. Press out all the water as best you can. All right, let's do a quick overview of our mise en place of ingredients here. Has some filo dough, fresh cracked pepper, a little bit of olive oil, 1 egg, quarter cup of room temperature cream cheese, quarter cup of shredded parmesan, 1 heaping cup of feta, and that feta has some basil in it. Also gonna need some kosher salt, melted butter, about 3 tablespoons, 2 cups of drained spinach, our minced onion, quarter cup, or you can use shallot, little teaspoon of garlic shallot puree, or you can use a clove of minced garlic. And then finally, quarter cup of toasted pine nuts. Okay, now we're just gonna puree up our filling. First, we're gonna start with the spinach, our egg, and pine nuts. And we're just gonna pulse this for a little bit. Now, I'm going to add cream cheese, feta. It's always better with feta. And then our parmesan. Go ahead and give that another quick pulse. Okay, there's our filling. Let's do a couple of pinches of salt. Just a little bit. You're gonna have some salt from the cheese in there. And then let's hit it with some fresh cracked pepper. Probably about a half teaspoon. One more quick pulse. There we go. After we pureed our filling, I transfer it to a small bowl, and it's time to assemble the Spanakopitas. All right, filo dough is extremely thin, so I like to do 3 sheets. Start with one, a little cooking spray on each one. Lay that one on top. Do another quick little spray, and then we'll do our third one here, right on top of each other. Okay, now we have our dough prepped. We're going to go ahead and cut it lengthwise down the middle. We're going to make 6 squares out of this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, let's take a little bit of our melted butter and go down the sides of the filo dough. Next, we'll take about a tablespoon of our filling, put it right in the middle, and then carefully fold over to make a triangle. Try and press down, and you can actually fold it, crimp it if you can a little bit, so it stays closed. And then turn it over, folded side down, and brush the top with some more butter. A couple of tips when you're working with filo dough: make sure you keep it covered as you're working your batches. And also, frozen filo dough can be refrigerated for up to 3 days, but it's not recommended to refreeze because it gets really brittle. Okay, my first batch is ready for the oven. My oven's preheated at 350. These will go in there for about 20 minutes or until they're golden brown. Okay, after 23 minutes, took them out of the oven. My wife said they were burning, but I don't think they're burned. Well, I hope you give my Spanakopita recipe a try. And as always, thanks for tuning in. What a great little finger food.